Welcome back, everybody. We're doing another episode of Indie Reads Aloud. This is season 5, everybody. We're having a blast. I am Diana Catherine Penn, your host. Today's special author guest is Mandy Jo. Hi,
Yay.
Mandy Jo.
Hello.
So good to have you back again.
I'm always
Um,
excited to read.
I'm excited to hear you read, especially this book because I haven't read it yet, which is super exciting for me. Um, So for those of you who may or may not know Mandy Jo, you can go to the show notes and see all the details and all the stuff about all the things. Um, but what I can tell you that's easy is Mandy Jo and I are great friends. We have lived through thick and thin in the author world. She is a Michigan transplant in South Carolina.
Hmm.
Um, and she runs an organization called Creative Slingers of Ink. She has a bunch of writing groups that she works with, and she does book festivals, and she just connects people to people in the writing world, similarly but different from how I do it. So if you're looking for a community to join, she's got one. Check it out. We write together every Monday night on Zoom. So if you're a writer, connect. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So, Mandy Jo, Where the Heart Begins is the book you're going to read for us today.
Hmm.
And this is a really curious book
Hmm.
because it is a reimagining, redesigning, rewriting of your previous book, Adventures in Walking.
Hmm.
So, this is the most curious question I've had, and I've been saving this for a while.
Uh-oh.
um, So, for those who have read Adventures in Walking, it's a novella and it's has a lot to do with walking a 5K
Hmm.
and a relationship that happens there. Kids, single moms, really interesting dynamics. How is the rewrite different? What's the biggest thing that you did to the new edition, which is called Where the Heart Begins? How what's the biggest change you made to the original book?
Ooh, there's a couple of big changes. One, I gave her a whole new group. Two, actually, there's more than a couple. Two, the boys are aged, so they're now 12 instead of 5.
Okay.
And they, and she, this goes through that slow burn to a relationship for her that isn't, it's more along the romantic lines of relationship. So that was completely not in the Adventures in Walking book at all. That one was focused on the walking, whereas this is focused on AJ and relationships.
So is that idea of the 5K walk, is that still a part of this story? And
Yep.
it now just is a subplot rather than a main plot?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so you added this romantic element. What
Hmm.
was the most challenging part of doing that for you?
I don't typically write romance. So that in and of itself, how to weave that in and still stay true to how I write. Because I wanted something a little different, and it ties in with another book. So I took all the characters from that book and put them in this book.
So is it a crossover? Is it a prequel? Is it a how does it connect?
This
Which book does it connect to and how?
it connects to Stormy Travel Through Time.
Okay.
And the walking group that she's a part of and she becomes very good friends with, they actually end up encountering the time travelers in Stormy multiple times. So this is now book one of a series. So I have to keep my timelines and my ages appropriate.
Yeah.
And so that's a challenge because I'm a pantser by nature.
Yes, we all know.
So, with those characters, now the time travelers do not appear in this book.
Okay.
They are not in book one. They don't appear until book two, which is coming. And
So in Where the Heart Begins, you have a new set of characters
mm-hmm,
that will later connect to the characters in Stormy Travel Through Time.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So it's kind
So,
of like a prequel, but it's also kind of like a standalone series.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Stormy is not, you will see more parts of Stormy in book two. They don't really tie in except for the characters are in the walking group. AJ and her walking group are in both this series and in Stormy.
Stick. Okay. I'm gonna get you read a little bit for me, and then we'll chat some more after you're done reading. So, Mandy Jo, when you are ready, please take the microphone and read aloud from Where the Heart Begins.
I'm actually going to start in chapter 12, and I think it will resonate with you, maybe some of our audience.
Easter eggs for Diana. That's always fun.
Yes, Easter eggs for Diana. So let's start. Chapter 12. The door to the Süßwasser Cafe chimed softly as AJ stepped inside. The rich scent of warm pastries wrapped around her like a hug. Afternoon light spilled through the big front windows, catching in the swirls of steam rising from behind the counter. Vicky was already waving from a corner table, her scarf draped over the back of the chair like she claimed the spot hours ago. Kat sat beside her, stirring something iced and caramel colored with the slow focus of someone determined to get every bit of flavor evenly mixed. Hey, Vicky said as AJ slid into the seat across from them. We went ahead and ordered. You've got a raspberry hot cocoa coming and a and I'd suggest a pretzel sandwich because they're fresh out of the oven. That's my favorite. You really are dangerous to go to coffee with, even when one doesn't drink coffee. They settled in, the easy rhythm of friends who didn't have to fill every silence. The low hum of espresso machines and soft indie music made it feel almost private, despite the handful of other customers. Vicky leaned back. So, we were just talking about how we ended up with our guys. Otis and I met at the 4th of July cookout. I was 25, he was just 28. He was grilling burgers like he was auditioning for the Food Network. I swear I married him for his barbecue skills. Kat laughed. Eddie can grill, but it's his breakfast game that's next level. We met at a friend's game night, and he beat me at trivia, which I didn't think was possible. I was 24. He was 29. He had this cocky little smile like he knew the answer to everything. Still does. AJ smiled, twirling her ponytail. Michael and I met at a car show. I was 19. He was 24. I was supposed to be at the cousin's baby shower. He had that baby boy turned good guy vibe going on. I loved his car, I must admit. We had good years. And now we have the boys. We just work better as friends. Kat nodded. That's rare, you know, being able to actually be friends with your ex. It's a work in progress. Watching our boys enjoy their lives and be outgoing makes it worth every awkward moment. Vicky sipped her coffee. It's funny, isn't it? How different the timelines and circumstances are, but somehow we all ended up in the same walking group, sitting in the same coffee shop, talking about our families. AJ's gaze drifted toward the window for a moment. Yeah, funny. Yeah, maybe a little like the universe nudged things into place. Vicky sat her mug down. You know, I don't think we've ever really talked about how each of us got into the walking group. I mean, we all just sort of showed up one day. Cat. True. I've always been more of a runner, like since high school track. But Eddie never was into running. When we started dating, he'd go on walks with me, and somewhere along the way, I realized I liked it just as much. maybe even more. It's easier to talk when you are walking. Vicky nodded. That's one of my favorite parts. For me, it's all about the long game. Literally. I'm aiming for my first marathon when I turn 60. AJ. That's 6 years from now, right? Yep. I figure I keep building up my mileage. I'll hit it without wrecking my knees. Walking might take longer than running, but I'll get there. Kat raised her glass and a little toast, and you'll have a whole cheering section when you do. Vicky's eyes twinkled. That's the plan. Plus, I get to train with friends, which makes it a lot more fun. Both of them looked at Kat. All right, your turn. How'd we get so lucky to have you join us? Well, my sister in law died from complications of diabetes. I wanted to make sure I never get to that point. I'd put weight on after having Cooper and Carson. It just wasn't coming off. Then I got an email from a local TV station and decided to not put anything off. I signed up for the program before I even talked to Michael about it. I don't have any aspirations beyond the 5K, one step at a time. And I wanted adult conversation. I don't get much of that working from home and homeschooling the boys. Vicky smiled. And that first night, were you nervous? I think I talked way too much in my first session just to cover up the fact that I was terrified of falling behind. Girl, I was terrified about that. I was so happy I could keep up with you. I think it helped that we met before and I already knew a couple people. Cat chuckled. Not me. I remember sizing up everyone around and wondering who would try to bolt ahead. Turns out, half the group just wanted to chat and keep a steady pace. Yes, you all made it easy for me to fit in. Cat. And do the boys ever walk with you, or is this strictly AJ time? That's the best part. I get both. I walk and bike ride with them, but I also get time with the group. Plus, Vicky comes over sometimes to walk with me. It's great. It breaks up the routine. It's not just exercise, it's a whole new world for me. Vicky. Oh, and I'm curious. Did Michael think you'd stick with it, or was he like, sure, we'll see? He's been really encouraging. He likes the extra time with the boys during the week, and I told the boys they'd be there to watch me finish the race. I have to finish now. What kind of example would I be if I didn't? Cat. And big question. What's the end goal? Just the 5K? Or are you secretly plotting something bigger? At this point, my big goal is my first goal, the 5K. One step at a time. Maybe I'll join Vicky for her marathon when she turns 60. We've got 6 years. Surely I can get from 3.1 miles to 26.2 in that time. Though it sounds a little terrifying right now. Kat leaned back. Speaking of the walking group, I don't think I ever told you that two of my brothers are in it. Two? I knew Carl was your brother. He's married to Anna, but who's the other? Johann. Tall, wears the ball cap a lot. Kinda quiet unless you get him going. Vicky. Oh, that Johann. AJ sipped her cocoa, careful not to smile too much. I think I've seen him. Kat's grin turned playful. He's the only one of us not married. Carl has Anna. Eddie has me. Johann's still flying solo. Vicky leaned in. Are you asking her what I think you're asking? Kat shrugged. I'm just saying. He's a good guy, smart, funny once he warms up, works hard, doesn't mind walking in the rain, which in this group is basically a superpower. AJ set her cup down, trying not to laugh. This feels suspiciously like a setup. Only if you want it to be, Kat said. But let's be real. Our group has been known to spark more than just exercise habits. Vicky. I mean, it would make the group photo at the end of the race a little more interesting. AJ rolled her eyes. You two are terrible. Cat. We prefer optimistic matchmakers. Vicky pointed out. She did not say no. So there's a possibility. AJ pressed her lips together, half to hide a smile, half to keep from giving them any more ammunition. Possibility? Hmm, she thought. Maybe. But it's been a long time since I've even considered someone new. And Johann? Quiet, observant. That's different. Dangerous to overthink it, though. It's just walking group banter. Still, there was that wave the other night, and the way he actually remembered my name from week one. Before Kat could add another comment, Karen appeared at the table with a warm grin, balancing the tray loaded with pretzel sandwiches. The buttery golden brown knots glistened, the scent of baked dough and melted cheese spilling into the air between them. Ham and cheese, fresh from the oven, Karen said, setting a plate in front of each of them. I saw you three come in and figured I'd save you the trouble of ordering. You've never turned these down yet. Vicky, you know us too well. And you're the reason I don't even pretend to look at the menu anymore, AJ added. Kat leaned in over hers. I swear these should come with a warning label, like may cause sudden happiness. Karen winked. Then my job here is done. She moved off to greet another customer, leaving the three of them with their plates and an unspoken agreement that the next few minutes would be spent in blissful, melty cheese silence. The first bite was all soft, salty pretzel and rich melted Swiss cheese with just enough smoky ham to make AJ's eyes close for a second. Yep, happiness achieved. Vicky dabbed the corner of her mouth with a napkin. All right, favorite comfort food. And no stealing each other's answers. Cat grinned. Mac and cheese, but the baked kind with the crunchy topping. AJ, good choice. Mine's lasagna. Extra sauce, extra cheese, extra meat, and garlic bread on the side. Vicky, loaded baked potato soup. And maybe Karen's pretzel sandwich for dessert. Cat laughed. You can't call this dessert. This is lunch. Now, pie after this? That's dessert. Karen wandered back over, glancing at nearly empty mugs and glasses. Refills? AJ, another cocoa? Cat, more caramel latte? Vicky, another coffee? Three nods. Yes, please. Karen returned with fresh drinks a few minutes later, setting them down like she'd been part of the conversation all along. You know, I should just put your names on these orders. It'd save everyone time. You'd still ask us, Vicky teased. Karen shrugged with a smile. True, half the fun is making you feel like you have options. Eventually, Vicky glanced at her watch. Wow, we've been here almost 2 hours? Kit groaned. That explains why I can't eat another bite. AJ pushed her plate back. We should probably let Karen have this table back. They stood, stretching, and Karen appeared one more time to collect plates. You ladies take care and don't be strangers. We never are, Kat said, grabbing her bag. Outside, the cool air was a gentle shock after the cafe's warmth. They lingered by the sidewalk, pulling jackets tighter, reluctant to cut the afternoon short. Vicky hugged AJ first, squeezing her tight, then Kat followed with a quick embrace. Same time next week? Vicky asked, keys jangling in her hand. Absolutely. Kat's smile curved slyly. And maybe next time we'll get more than a maybe out of you about Johann. AJ groaned. Bye, Kat. You're impossible. Love you too, Kat sang. They split toward their vehicles, voices carrying over the afternoon air. See you soon, echoed between them. Laughter woven through the words, the scent of warm pretzels and roasted almonds drifted from the shop behind them, clinging to AJ like a sweet souvenir of the afternoon. She slid into her truck, still smiling, grateful for friends who teased but also believed in her. Maybe next time I'll have an answer about Johann. And that is chapter 12.
That was very fun. Thank you very much. That's yeah, the ham cheese pretzel sandwiches are definitely on the list of things you have to experience in life at least 6 dozen times. At least. So I know because I know you that you draw a little bit from real life to insert into your books.
Right.
What was the thing that you included in this story that was most not like real life for you?
My sister-in-law, my ex-sister-in-law is alive and well and living in Michigan. So that I added into the story because I wanted that really deep down reason of why would she start this training program.
And
So
okay.
yes, I have an
So
ex-sister-in-law,
you
but
had to
she's alive and well.
so you had to kill somebody in real life to create motivation, but that person is really okay.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. All right. Very cool. Who are some of your biggest literary influences? Who do you like to read? Traditional authors we may have heard of that influence the way you write.
Hmm. Unfortunately, my memory isn't the greatest but I've had so many different authors that I've absolutely loved throughout the years. But to actually name one, I is Tom Clancy.
Okay.
I'm a huge Tom Clancy fan. Absolutely love his work and his detail.
Excellent. Okay. Um, Now let's take that a step further because this program is all about supporting indie authors and the work we do and the books we write and share. Can you give me the names of three independent authors that you would recommend our audience reads?
Oh my goodness.
You're a group
Only
moderator.
three?
Well, you're an
Oh,
indie author group moderator, so I have to ask you this question.
I know. The first one that comes to mind because he also does lots of food descriptions in his books because I was really glad I wasn't hungry when I was reading his book.
Mm,
Christopher Gare.
okay.
I absolutely love his books and he does a great job of food descriptions. So don't read when hungry.
Right. Read his stuff at night after dinner. Yeah.
Yes,
Or it'll give you some really great ideas of restaurants to try.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
he
So
does a great
Christopher
job.
Gare is number one. Who would be
Yep.
number two?
Ooh.
Not in any particular order, just
No, they're not in order.
a second
Actually,
author.
I'll go with those that pop into my brain because they do. Second would be S.W. Rain. I had never really thought about steampunk before.
Okay.
And she makes it so interesting that it's like I never would have normally picked up a steampunk book, you know, and that goes with Christopher Gare. I never would have picked up a book knowing that there was LGBTQ in it. I it
Just
wouldn't it
just because that's not something that comes to mind, not because you're opposed to it.
yes,
Right.
because I would have
Okay.
just picked up a book. To me, it doesn't. I'm not okay. This is what
You're
who they
not
are.
profiling books.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the word
Okay.
I was looking for.
So Christopher
Yes.
Gare, S.W. Rain, and
Yep.
who would be a third author you would like to help promote?
Third author is a newer author, and she's down here with me in South Carolina, and that is Gretchen Red, who also has another genre. These are three genres that I just normally wouldn't pick up. So she does K-pop drama, romance, and I'm like, I first of all, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, evidently it's a really big thing, and for some reason it never hit my radar until I met Gretchen. And her books are so very interesting because they actually take place in Korea. So
Right. So
the
we get that added layer of the society.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
very cool. Very, very cool. Well, thank you for helping to spotlight other authors. I know that
Oh,
you and I both
I
love
could
doing
name
that.
so many. It's just
It's crazy. I know. My shelves are filled.
yeah.
So back to where the heart begins.
hmm
We talked about the challenges that you had in writing this book. What
hmm
was the easiest part of rewriting a story that you worked on several years ago? What did you find that came most naturally to you about the rewrite?
It was kind of like difficult but easy. And that was when I gave her a new group of characters because this group of walking friends I really connected with. It just really put things in there, and it was so much easier to write with this cast of characters because I wasn't trying to make them something they weren't.
So they felt more defined to you?
hmm
Okay, very cool. Now, at the beginning, you said this is part of a series. So
Yes.
what's going to be the next book, and when can we expect to see it?
Well, I'm going to cheat by looking over at my whiteboard.
Uh,
So we have Where the Heart is Found. That should be coming out next month and probably the end of February, early March.
Fabulous.
So that's getting really close to the edits being all done and ready to go. Um, and then that is the next one, and that one is Where the Heart Belongs. We're hoping to get that one out July-ish. And then because of other books I have in my list, Where the Heart Glows needs to come out in September because it focuses on Christmas and a Christmas town. So,
So it makes sense to have it out before Christmas happens. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you came on the program today. Thank you for reading a little bit for us. Thank you for helping to support indie authors in all the great ways that
Always.
you do that. It's so exciting to have you do that. I love going to your writing groups on Monday night. I have a blast. So thank you so much for all you do. And make sure that when the next book comes out, you come back and read again for me, please.
I will do that so we know what happens because the next book to come out is book two. So we have Where the Heart Begins, and then we have Where the Heart is Found.
Awesome. We will look for it. Thank you so much for being on the program. I hope you can survive the winter storm down there, and we will connect again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.